Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Student Pages podcast. I'm joined by Anais Lee. How are you, Anais?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm not too bad. What are you up to these days?
Just a lot of school since school's starting back up and
Well,
auditions and stuff.
you must be so busy because you've got to balance school and acting and dancing and modeling. I mean, how busy is your life normally?
My life is pretty busy, but sometimes I still like to take some time just to relax or just like read a book sometimes or just catch up with my friends. I have ballet normally in the mornings and then I have school and then sometimes I have an audition afterwards, but like normally at night I just like take time for myself. So I like to bake a lot.
Yeah, I saw a video that you made with your sister where you guys were baking.
Yeah, we like to bake a lot. Last thing we baked was
But you guys, so you even before you go to school, you're doing something in the morning, and then after
yeah.
you come out of school, you're doing something in the evening. And school is so tiring as it is.
Honestly, sometimes I say to myself like, how do I even manage it all? But I always find out a way to do it.
What's it like? What's it like being young in the industry? Because you started when you were three, and I
Yes.
feel like because I did a bit of acting when I was younger as well, and I felt a lot like I needed to be very grown up because you're around adults a lot. Do you feel like that?
When you're an actor in the business, especially when you're really young, when you're like young, you have to act more mature because obviously if you're on set, they're not gonna want like a little kid just like running around and screaming all the time. So when I was young, I had to like learn like proper manners like really, really early. And it's pretty different being like a kid in the acting industry because like a lot of my friends they just have school or they're like in their after school sports, but then I don't have after school sports. I mean, if you count dance, but I have like auditions and stuff. So that's pretty different.
I remember feeling the set was like a kind of a playground, and I found it hard to remember like, oh, yeah, I need to be serious here. Like I would run around like talking to the ADs and the hair and makeup people. Were you doing that at first as well, or were you always?
When I was younger, I was actually really shy. It was my sister who was really like energetic and she was more talkative. But as I got older, I got more like out there and I could actually like talk to people as much. But when I was like 5 and I first started in the business, I was just like, hi, I'm an A. And I just had like my little baby doll on set.
I remember I used to like this is probably why I only had a couple of jobs when I was doing acting when I was younger. But I remember I would mess around so much on set that I wouldn't have learned my lines by the time we'd shoot. And it would be
Oh
so
no.
embarrassing. Has that ever happened to you? Like you don't know your lines by the time.
That's never happened to me, even though like you get lines pretty quickly, especially if you're filming like a TV show. Like you normally like you don't know what scenes you're filming the next day sometimes, and they'll just like send you your lines like the night before, or they change them a lot. They do that too. But I think over the years, my brain has just learned how to memorize things super, super quickly. So when I get the lines the night before, I always learn them really quickly.
Are you normally like being tutored, or are you sort of sitting around, or I guess you must like have an iPhone, you're probably watching TikToks all day.
I mean, it depends on the day because sometimes you can be filming and you have a lot of scenes that day. So you're barely in your trailer or you're barely in school. So you're just like filming the entire day from like scene to scene. But then sometimes there's like a day where you only have one scene. So literally you're just waiting in your trailer or in like the schoolroom the entire day. I know, especially with like COVID now, when you're filming, it's so much different because normally you're in the school trailer with all of your friends and that's where you are like majority of the day. But with COVID, you have to just be in your trailer the entire day, which is really different.
Oh, really? You have to be there the whole time?
Except when you have to go to hair and makeup and you're filming, of course.
And you must be able to do normal school with your friends from school rather than having to have a tutor, right?
I do online school, so we have to join Zoom classes. But when I'm like on set, I normally don't join the Zoom classes because I don't know if I would have to leave or not. And sometimes they would like need me really quickly. So I just do my schoolwork. It's basically the same. I just don't join the classes and I watch the classes later on.
And when you're kind of managing your life and you're having to sort out school and dancing and modeling and everything, do you kind of run it all yourself? Would your parents help you out? Because it seems to me like you and your sister just kind of are just running your lives yourself.
Our parents help us a lot. I always say like my mom is like my momager and she's like my mom and my manager. She is really like a big part of me and my sister's career. She has like run everything. And like even when we were little, when she didn't know like anything about the business at all, she still like took her time to learn about it. And now, honestly, like she knows so much about it. I don't even know how she does it all.
I think I remember my mum kind of being the same with schoolwork and everything, because I watched an interview where you said that you wanted to eventually go to Oxford because your dad's British. Is that still an ambition for you?
Yes, definitely. I've been wanting to go to Oxford like as long as I can remember. I don't even know what really like pulled me to really want to go to that specific school, but I've always wanted to go there, and that's just definitely a dream of mine.
Where's your dad from?
My dad, I'm pretty sure he's from like Northamptonshire. I think that's
Wow,
where he's
okay.
from.
Northamptonshire. Yeah, I live with a girl from Northamptonshire. That's so funny. Yeah, you would move out to America if you're from Northamptonshire. That's hilarious. Some of my friends go to Oxford, they have a great time. You've got to work hard though, you know that, right?
Yes, definitely. I Education is definitely a really important thing, and our parents told me and our sister that once we started in this business that like we still had to keep up our grades. And honestly, even though my parents want us to keep up our grades, I want myself to keep up my grades. So like even when I have like an A minus, I'm like, "Oh no, I need to get that back up."
Wow, you're such a diligent, well-behaved child. I'm thinking back to when I was doing acting, I was running around the set and misbehaving and not doing my schoolwork. You seem to have your life in order. Do you know what subject you want to do?
I'm still like looking into that. Like I think I definitely want to do something that involves like writing because like in the future, I think it'd be really cool to like write a TV show.
Oh man, that'd be great. That's the dream. Something that involves writing. Well, so maybe you think about doing English or something.
Yeah, probably.
You're going to be reading a lot of books. You're going to be writing a lot of essays. Amazing. And I was thinking about the fact that you're a twin. Because I live with two sets of twins, right? I was asking them the other day, like, what's the most annoying question that you get asked as a twin? I wanted to ask you as well.
The most annoying question I get asked being a twin is probably if we have like twin telepathy. I mean, me and Mirabel, we think a lot alike. So sometimes if somebody's saying something, we can just like look at each other and we know what each other are thinking since we just know each other so well. But like we can't just like look at each other and have a whole conversation because I don't think that's possible.
Do you guys always get along?
I mean, we're kind of just like every other siblings. So sometimes we do have our fights, but we make up like super, super quickly. I remember talking to my friend the other day, and she was saying how her and her sister, like their fights last days. And I'm like, huh? Our fights last like max an hour.
Do you think it's funny when you guys are playing the same role like you did in Blood Ties? Do you think it's funny when you watch it back and you can tell that it's a different person and you think that other people can't? Is that just hilarious to you?
Yeah, it's just kind of funny because when we're like filming scenes, I can clearly tell when it's like me and when it's Mirabel, but it's just like nobody else can tell. And I'm like, how do you guys not see the difference? Like when we were in the Blacklist, like at first it was like Mirabel and then it was me, and then all of a sudden it was Mirabel again, and then it was me. And I was like, how do you guys just like not see the difference between us? Because I think we look so different.
Yeah, I think when you spend enough time with twin, like at first, people living in my house, I was like, oh, how am I going to be able to tell them apart? And then after a few days, you're like, oh, you guys look completely different.
Yeah, that's how it is with me and my twin friends. I remember it was a twins, Bianca and Kiara. Mirabel worked with them for their movie Slapface. And when I first met them, I was like, they look exactly the same. I was like, how does anybody tell them apart? But now, like, they're some of my best friends. So I'm like, oh, wait, I can tell them apart now. That's easy.
Yeah, exactly. Have you and your sister ever talked about what would be your kind of dream twin role? If it could be both of you together, what kind of thing you'd like to do?
My dream role was just be a lead role in a TV show working alongside my sister. And I think like a show that's kind of like a dramedy would be fun, like not like full comedy, but not like full on dramatic, like somewhere in the middle of it. So I think those shows I really love drama work, but I like some humor in it sometimes as well.
Yeah, you like comedy shows? What kind of comedy shows do you like?
I love Blackish. Blackish is one of my favorite shows, which is why I was so excited to meet Yarshidi. Another, let me think.
I'm interested because I do stand-up comedy. I don't know, do you watch much stand-up comedy?
Oh, I have not yet, but I have to take a look at that.
Maybe wait till you're a little, but I don't know if a lot of it is appropriate. It's some quite rude stuff. If you couldn't do acting, what would you do?
I mean, If I wasn't an actor, I'd probably be a dancer. I mean, I'm already a dancer now, but I'd probably be a professional dancer. And if I wasn't a dancer, see, I already had this all planned out. If I wasn't a dancer, I really love tumbling, so I might like want to try gymnastics. I've never done like gymnastics before. I've only done tumbling, which is like the floor work. And if I didn't do that, I'd probably be a baker. I love baking.
Amazing. It's crazy to think that you're doing all these things and you manage to stay humble. And I think when I was 13, maybe girls mature quicker than boys. I think I heard that, but when I was 13, I think I was such an arrogant, you think I thought I knew everything. And what's your favorite thing to bake? What's the next thing you want to bake?
My favorite thing to bake is probably chocolate chip cookies. And also, I love making coconut cream pie. That was really good. I made that once. And I think the next thing I'm gonna bake is probably a pumpkin pie since it's like fall here. So that's gonna like I really wanted to do some sort of like pumpkin dessert.
Does your dad call them when you talk about cookies, does your dad call them biscuits?
Sometimes he does. Sometimes he'll say yogurt, and I'm like, what? Yogurt. And over there he'll say like yaw play. And I'm like, Dad, it's literally yo play. I just when he says like or like vitamin. When I was younger, I said vitamin and my sister said vitamin, and we would always have arguments about it. But then I don't know. I don't know what happened, but now I just say vitamin.
I'm
But it's
proud of
kind of
you.
funny.
You should have carried on saying vitamin. You should have supported the cause. Connect with your heritage. That's great. Oh, well, Carrie, I think you should try and pick up a bit of an accent from your dad. Does he still have one?
My dad, his British accent, it used to be a lot stronger because he's been here for so many years. But after I don't even hear it that much. But then when like other like people like come up to him, they're like, "Oh, you're British, right?" I'm like, "How do you guys hear it?" Like I don't hear it personally, but like because my grandma, like his mom, like I can definitely hear her accent because she lives in England. But like people can always like tell that my dad is British, and me and my friends always have like funny like jokes. We call him the British King. I think it's really funny. And at first he did not get it, but now he caught along. He caught along. It's,
Like my dad sounds Scottish, but I just don't even register it when I'm talking to him. And I got some friends who they talk to their parents with a different accent and they switch their accent. They don't even notice it. You don't do you do that?
no, I don't do that. I've actually never been to England before, so I don't have a British accent. But I really want to go to England though, because like half my family is out there, and I've always wanted to go there. So, but that's kind of weird that I've never been.
You would be the most famous, glamorous person in Northamptonshire if you if you made a trip on over here. Um, and thanks so much for talking to me today.
Thank you for
Um,
talking with me.
it's just great to have you on. And thanks everyone for listening to the Student Pages podcast.